When Mark came to me, he was almost 200 pounds. Body feeling heavy, energy was shot. But here's what's interesting. He didn't need another diet. He needed a system. And in 12 months, he dropped almost 30 pounds without giving up family dinners. Here's how he did it. I'm Tyler Ortiz. I help people who've put their health last finally take back control without tracking every meal or going to the gym every single day. If you're carrying an extra 20 pounds and you're tired of starting over, this is for you. You know what kills me? Watching good people blame themselves when their plans fall apart. They'll sit there and they think they need more discipline or they need more motivation or more willpower. But here's what nobody tells you. It's not about working harder. Mark proved that. He didn't need another meal plan. He didn't need another workout program. He needed a framework that worked with his life, not against it. Because let's be honest, when you're juggling work, family, and everything else, perfect isn't always an option. But progress, that's different. Let me show you the exact plan that Mark used to lose 30 pounds while still enjoying his life. Because sustainable results don't come from perfection. They come from having the right structure. Okay, guys, so I'm breaking down Mark's transformation step by step. So he knew when he came to me and he was around 200 pounds, he had tried several things before. He had access to an apartment gym. He was working from home a few days a week, and he knew the things that he wanted to do differently. He just didn't know where to start. And he reached out to me and he said, hey, can we work together to get started? And so first things that we did was we broke down his schedule. We sat down on an hour-long call and we said, okay, what are the things that you are doing right? What things are you doing wrong? What time you wake up? What time you go to bed? What do you eat? And we really step by step looked at every single thing that he was doing. And then from there, we built a system that worked with his already existing schedule. A lot of you guys won't do this first step. This is step 0. This is before I pick a plan. A lot of people come up to me and ask me questions about how many days should I work out. This step 0 will answer that question. So if you are an extremely busy parent, I would not recommend going to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. I think something like going 3 or 4 days might be more feasible for you. In Mark's case, we started off with 3 days and then we moved on to 4 days, but we had to really make sure we were consistent with those 3 days. The next thing that we did was we looked at his nutrition on normal days, and then we looked at his nutrition on days where he went out to restaurants to eat with his girlfriend or his family. I would have him pick out the restaurant days before, and we would go over the menu together. We would look at things that aligned with his goals. We would look at things that didn't align with his goals. And this allowed him to have a system that worked even when he wasn't making his own meals. Is this going to be as effective as making 100% of your meals at home? No. But he was still able to see progress while going out to eat with his family. And the biggest thing that we worked on was his mindset when it comes to progress versus perfection. There was this one time where we did our weekly check-in and he was stressed out because he had a piece of cake at a holiday party at work. We had to sit down and have a conversation and talk about progress versus perfection. He had been good for, I think, 6 weeks leading up to this point, didn't have a single sweet, didn't have a single treat, and he had this one piece of cake. It's okay to understand what your goals are. Now, if he was stepping on a bodybuilding show in 2 weeks from now, yeah, that would have been a problem. But for most of us, we're trying to find out how to get fit and fit it into our life. We're not trying to become the next Mr. Olympia. We're not trying to become another bodybuilder. We're just trying to get a little bit fitter than we were the day before. And that comes with having balance. And we communicated almost daily through this first 12 weeks. There was a lot of times where I was jumping into his food diary. I was looking at what he was eating. I was reviewing his workouts. On the days that he didn't work out with me, he would literally send me videos of his squat form, his deadlift form, and we would be going over those things, going back and forth, tweaking those things almost daily. And then after the 12 weeks, then it became less consistent every few days, every week or so, just to make sure that we were constantly tweaking things to make sure that we were getting the best possible progress that he wanted for his life. And so what really changed for him was when we shifted his mindset away from, I want to start, but I also want to be perfect when I start, to let's figure out what's good enough for Mark for today. The other thing that we focused on was, instead of having restrictions or I'm giving you this diet plan, you have to follow it to a T, we started focusing on rules that fit his life, focusing on protein first when making meals, focusing on when you go to restaurants, eating vegetables more than you're eating anything else. And then we didn't focus on any sort of quick fixes, but instead we focused on compounding wins. And this is something that a lot of you guys need to realize is the people who want to take things slow, maybe the people who have read that, okay, I know that extreme diets aren't the way to go. The reverse of that, trying to implement tiny habits one at a time, the drawback to that is you might not see results until you implement 3 or 4 different habits. And so that's really where we started, was we tried to hone in on 3 or 4 different habits that we felt would give us the best bang for our buck immediately. And that is something that you guys really need to take a look at during your step 0. I would not recommend you do something like focus on intermittent fasting when you don't have an issue with overeating late at night. That's a really good way to burn up a bunch of your energy on something that probably isn't really an issue in your life. And we tracked a lot, especially during the beginning. We really focused on making sure that we had the data to make informed decisions. As a coach, I can't really give you good quality advice if I don't have good data to back it up. I can tell you, hey, you should eat less and move more, but you already know that. So I can tell you exactly how much you need to eat less and exactly how much you need to move more if I have that data. A year later from when we started, he had lost 30 pounds. He had gained muscle. He gained, I think, 2 inches on his bicep in the first 6 months. And he has a clear path forward now where he is still consistent with his meals without tracking. He is hovering around, I think he got at his lowest, he was around 171, 172. Now he's hovering around 176, and he's not tracking any of his meals. He's working out 2 days a week. He's doing some home workouts. He's doing a lot more activities outside like biking and walking. And he's really found a way to integrate fitness into his life, which is the end goal for all of us, right? A lot of us are not trying to be bodybuilders. A lot of us are not trying to be Instagram influencers. A lot of us just want to make sure that we are healthy for the long run. And Mark has accomplished that. Mark's story proves what I see every day. When you build the right system, it makes everything easier. He dropped 30 pounds and built muscle without having to track every single meal or living in the gym. That's what happens when you focus on structure instead of perfection. If you're ready to build your own sustainable system, you can download my free 5-day reset guide. It gives you the exact framework I used with Mark to create lasting change. Click the link below to download it now. In the next video, I'm breaking down my Atomic Method. It's a 6-step process that I use with all my clients to achieve lasting and sustainable results. So subscribe so you don't miss it.